Hi, in this video I wanted to take just a couple of minutes to show you how to get to the state materials, Massachusetts materials of course, on WestlawNext and Lexis Advance so that you can use this skill to start filling out the pages on the wiki about the Massachusetts sources of law. I'm already logged into both WestlawNext and Lexis Advance, and we're going to start on WestlawNext. There's a couple of different ways to get to state materials, but I find it easiest at the top. You have some tabs here. Your landing page, unless you've changed it, is going to show all content. The next tab is Federal Materials, and the third tab is State Materials. So I'm going to click on State Materials. And pick Massachusetts from the list. So I'm going to talk while this loads. On WestlawNext, it's pretty easy to see how the content is organized, and you don't have to know the specific names of any unofficial reporters because they list the materials by the branch of government basically, as we'll see in just a sec. Okay, so you can see here this page is set up in a way that's really easy to look at. We have cases at the top, statutes. So as I said in the video, statutes are one of the things that we call the rules that are passed by the legislature, and regulations and administrative decisions. So those were the basic sources we looked at in our first video. So pretty easy, right, on Westlaw. Let's pop over to Lexis. So as I mentioned, I'm already logged in now to Lexis, and I'm just going to briefly show you the same on Lexis, which is how to browse to Massachusetts sources of law. There are other ways we could look. For example, we could do some searches in the search box, but by browsing I feel like we get a better sense of overall what's available on Lexis for Massachusetts materials. So I'm going to go browse, and then once we're in the browse window we can go by source topic or practice page. So I'm going to pick sources. I'm just going to let this load, and then one of my choices is going to be by jurisdiction, and so I'm going to click by jurisdiction and obviously pick Massachusetts. One second here. And what we're going to see when this loads is, unlike the sort of table of contents view that we got on Westlaw, on Lexis the way that we're going to pick different databases is to narrow further in our left-hand column. So right now under category I'm seeing a few things, but I'm not seeing everything that Lexis has available. In order to see everything, I click more, and then you can see under more some sources we might be interested in, say statutes and legislation. Also here we have administrative codes, which we talked about. So administrative codes are another, and regulations. So administrative codes is another way to say regulations. Other administrative materials and cases. Okay. There are some other sources listed here. We'll definitely be going over those in the weeks to come, but you want to focus on those main sources. And here we have statutes and legislation. I'm just going to show you this as an example because it lists 9 sources. So a lot of times on Lexis Advance, in addition to the main source of law, we get some other additional materials as well. So anything having to do with statutes, for example, legislative bill history. The other thing I wanted to mention is here, under statutes, we have Mass Annotated Laws of Massachusetts, and that doesn't sound exactly like the source that I mentioned when we were talking about Massachusetts statutes. And as I think you might recall in the video, I told you we were going over the official sources. This is one of the unofficial sources of law, so published by Lexis, so it's got a slightly different name. If you're not sure whether it's what you're looking for, one tip, and this is not just for statutes but for other sources as well, is to click on the little information button, and it gives you more information about this source. And by reading about this source, I can see that it contains the statutory code from the Annotated Laws of Massachusetts, Lexis's version of the general laws, and that it includes all the laws of general and permanent nature enacted by the Massachusetts legislature. So I know that's one of the sources I'm definitely going to be looking for. So again, on Lexis, there's a couple of different ways, but the way I'm suggesting is browse to get a sense of the Massachusetts sources. to include on the wiki.